Greetings, everybody. Russ on the West End Network. Hope you're all safe and well. Happy Thursday. Almost a weekend, my friends. Almost. If you're new around here, give it a like, give it a comment, give it a share, give it a bloody good subscribe. It's Hammers Headlines in association with the KUMB.com boys. Lunchtime today, I went through and did my Russie Rumour Roundup with all the latest transfer ins and a little discussion about the outs as well. But we're going to talk about a potential transfer in. We're going to talk about a staff member leaving, and also we're going to talk about a player potentially leaving. Another one just to add to the list. And we've spoken about that play before, but a little bit more meat on the bones. Let's start with a player coming in. Let's talk about Armando Broja. He has been left out of Chelsea's pre-season tour of the United States due to ongoing hot negotiations with West Ham, according to Gazzetta dello Sport. The newspaper reported in its print edition today that the strike is the priority for the Hammers this summer. Broja missed the second half of last season after rupturing his ACL in a friendly with Villa during the World Cup break, and the Albanian attacker is the first goal apparently of Moyes in terms of bringing in the summer. He wants to add him into the centre of attack to get more depth, according to the article. Gazzetta also continued by noting that Broja has remained at home as Chelsea took part in their pre-season tour of the States, with the official reason being the player needs more time to recover from his ACL. But apparently, in reality, they've left him at home because of the negotiations with West Ham. Now, what's interesting is this has been reported in Gazzetta dello Sport, or obviously an Italian publication, who have absolutely no reason to talk about West Ham, who are a Premier League side, Chelsea, a Premier League side, and Broja, who is an Albanian international. Where's the Italian connection? Well, it's because of bloody Skamaka, isn't it? So again, it's more sort of Skamaka, back to Italy type narrative as being promoted by the Italian media outlets. Basically, it seems very much a one-way thing about this whole Skamaka to Roma, Skamaka to Juventus, Inter Milan, whoever. It does seem to be going that way, not coming back, not coming across the water to Italy, but very much the other way. And this compounds what I was trying to say before. The Italian press, whether it's orchestrated by his agents, whether it's orchestrated by, which I wouldn't think so as much, because the changing from if it was his previous agencies, then yes, because obviously that was very much a Serie A agency. He's with CAA Stella now, who are Premier League and Bundesliga particularly. So for me, it's almost like a campaign by Roma and maybe by, I don't know, Juventus or whatever, to get him back over. I love a conspiracy theory, but it seems that because in the day, there's no reason for Gazzetta Sport, with all the transfer rumours that are going on in the world, that they pick this article for their print edition, not even for their online edition, for their print edition, when column inches are very, very much a rarity. So very strange, isn't it? Very strange. Let's talk about an exit for West Ham. Let's talk about a staff member. Obviously, we've lost Paul Nevin, we've lost Mark Warburton as well, and we've lost also our head of recruitment analysis, Jordan Miles. According to the Aberdeen Live news outlet, Aberdeen are apparently have closed in on his capture. The Scottish club will be bringing the man in a similar role to what he was doing at West Ham for the ongoing transfer window. According to Sky Sports and reported on 6'2" as well by Sean. He's been at the club for several years now, over 7 years, and before that was head of performance analysis at Ipswich for 5 years. So 12 years doing that particular role. I've done the maths. He started his career in 2010 during an apprenticeship as a academy performance analyst at Derby County. Jordan's been one of the men sort of who have been accredited with finding Thomas Souček and Vladimir Sufal when Moisey said, I want a midfielder who runs, and apparently the data came out and they got Suchek in. He's also the same player who same person who uh, was accredited for Vlasic and Alex Kroll. So but but for me, something like that to me shows a change in mentality, a change in the fact is he's been there for a long time now, and it's a new regime coming in. Maybe Tim's bringing in his own analyst people, his own data people as well. So although it's sort of it's a shame he's going, but it could mean a newer dawn. Who knows? Me and my half glass full mentality. I know it pisses some people off. And lastly, let's talk about a potential. We've spoken about Fornals potentially leaving. We spoke about Juventus. We have spoken about the link to Real Betis. Obviously, the current manager, Manuel Pellegrini, bought Fornals in from Villarreal to West Ham for around 25 million pounds, I think it was at the time, as a tricky number 10. But apparently, according to the Spanish media outlet, as El Desmarque, that would do. With Real Betis apparently just about to sell Sergio Canales, they are in a hurry to find a substitute. And Fornals is on the list. We know a few names, and I said the most recent being Fornals, and Betis apparently are starting talks with his entourage to find out his availability and his openness to a move back to La Liga, back to Spain, and back to Manuel Pellegrini. Basically, the Liga side have been in talks apparently with West Ham already with the transfer of Luis Felipe. And that's exactly where the idea of bringing the Spaniard back home had come from. The newspaper said it didn't really bring any more details of how the deal will be made, just claiming that the Hammers, are open to offers for players and particularly Fornals. I think everybody, as I said to some people the other day, I think everyone's got a price. We've said that with Paqueta, the likes of Newcastle and PSG were sniffing. We go, you can have him for £80 million. You could have had our former captain, the man who should not be named, for 100 million, but you've got to pay 100 million pounds. And I think that's the same with Fornals. You can buy him, but it's a price. Same with Bowen. This rather than say they're not for sale. That's that's almost like la 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 la. That's quite a childish attitude, I think. At the moment, everyone has a price. We see, particularly the Saudi league and the Saudi investment in players from the Premier League. Every player's got a price, and I mean, in terms of this deal, it makes sense for Real Betis to be interested in him. Makes sense for the Pellegrini wants to bring Fornals back in. It makes sense for Fornals potentially in terms of getting first team football back in Spain with his family. In a Euros year as well. We've got the Euros at the end of the season coming. He'll want to be. He's probably got more chance of getting into the Spanish side by playing in La Liga. I know people, wouldn't want him to go. Maybe more for sentimental value. Maybe is he gonna be guaranteed a first team spot at West Ham? I don't think he is. In terms of the first 11, this is an opportunity for him to go get more first team football potentially as well. It gives us an opportunity to invest that money in younger players. Maybe I don't know. I'm just spitballing the idea. I mean, I can't see them. It would have to be a cash buy, or maybe a Luis Felipe and money or something like that for Fornals. There would be, as a loan sounds very unlikely. And his contract expires at the end of next season. I think it is. I think it expires at the end of next season. And so, in there's no discussion. I haven't had a discussion about his contract being renegotiated. So, when's his the summer. Yeah, is that a contract? It runs out the summer of 2024. So, he's 27 now. 27, 28. Yeah, 27. So maybe coming to the end of his peak, potentially. One last move for him. We'll see. I mean, apparently, according to the report, the sources close to Fornals say the contacts are real. even though they're very much in the initial stages at the moment. I think for him to go, we would need several players in beforehand and a bit more of an upturn in terms of our transfer activity, because it seems a lot. It seems a bit of a one-way street at the moment. It's almost like the door's stuck and you can't. No one's coming in, but they're all going out. Obviously, with likes of Antonio, Cresswell, Lanzini's already gone. And obviously a raft of youngsters have already gone as well. He should not be named as left as well. So it does seem a lot. Nothing's coming in apart from Sean Morn from Cliftonville, of course, the 17-year-old midfielder. And that's it, my friends. I should have ended on something a bit more positive, but in fact, I've done a piece which should go out tomorrow about why I'm glad we're selling Cresswell, because I think there's a positive story out of that as well. You know me, always try and find positives, and I think there's a positive story about Cresswell leaving as well. But anyway, let me know your thoughts. Broja ? And Fornals. I mean, obviously the recruit in terms of the staff leaving. I think it's sad, but it's a job. It's a job for them, and they're doing the same job in Aberdeen. So maybe it's back up north. I don't know if he's Scottish or whatever, or going back to live, close to his family potentially as well. It's a bit random, isn't it, in terms of an appointment? If he was that good, would other clubs be sniffing around for him in the Premier League? Quite possibly. I don't know. I'm just splitting hairs. But anyway, let me know what you think. Take care. Stay safe. Stay warm. Bye. Much love. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.